After the pain, the burning, and the flash, I must have been out of it. I slowly began to open my eyes and groggily ask into the ether, what the hell just happened? I began looking around to see what the hell was going on. I look over to see the glowing ball. It's still glowing, just not nearly as much as it did when it tried to burn the eyes out of my head. Speaking of eyes, I realize I still got them. I can still look around. I take a breath and look to see Slipstream on the ground. I immediately hurry on over to her and pick her up in my arms. She was out cold, without any visible damage. What's going on? I shake her a little bit to see if she's okay. Then realization sunk in. Either she shrunk, or I just got a hell of a lot bigger. I keep one arm under her, holding her up, and look at my other hand, and it looks like the hand of a machine. No, not a machine, but one of these robotic aliens. I focus on the feelings throughout my body, and then I focus more on my hands, and I realize it's though I'm wearing gloves, at least what it feels like. I open and close my hands again and again, reaching up to my face and feeling around my head. It feels like I'm wearing a helmet or something. I look down at my body, and it's not mine, but it feels like it is. What the hell is going on? As I'm thinking this, I hear metal steps, and I turn to see that Alpha Trion old fucker standing there as I scream, "What did you do to us?" Alpha Trion stops, expressionless, as he looked down towards us, and I realize that I didn't get much larger. If I did, then she definitely shrank a lot, because seriously, I wasn't much bigger than her head before, and now I'm holding her in my arms. Then he speaks. "I did nothing. I am just a messenger and an observer. I was sent by Primus to ask you why you are here. I asked what you wanted. You wanted me to save her, and she wanted me to save you. I relayed this to Primus, and he felt out towards both of you and felt no ill will to either of you in your words nor your intentions. Primus will only do what he must and what must be done to continue his own species. This is his primary function, his true purpose for being." I look up. I don't get it. Why change me into whatever in the hell this is? I'm not even from this planet, yet, I look like this, but I still feel, human. "Those that have arrived from our future and our past have shown that there is a need to transform, to adapt. You have already seen one from our future that has incorporated bioorganic metallics into their being, into a more bestial form. There are others as well, similar to this one here." He points with all of his fingers down towards Slipstream. "This one had partially transformed, and now she is fully what she needs to be, like you." Still cradling her in one arm, I reach down towards her face, and without looking up, I ask, "Is she alive? She's not breathing." I don't hear anything said. I look up and I see that fucker had already walked away. I then look down at her and I shake her, begging her to wake up. "Wake up, please!" I look into her eyes, and the very slightest flicker of light in her optics can be seen. I look and I still call out to her, saying, "Wake up, I'm here. Come back to me." She begins to awaken. I know I must have smiled, but as soon as she starts to wake up, she clocked me and backed away as fast as she could, screaming, "Who are you?" As she looked around, she couldn't understand what the hell was going on. Eventually, she started to look at me, look at the ground, look at Primus, look everywhere, as she realizes she's not nearly as large as she used to be. I look at her and I'm constantly yelling, "It's me! It's me!" And she doesn't believe me at all. I tell her what Primus had done to her, what had done to me, what was going on, and she still couldn't believe it. And that is when Alpha Trion returned. "Yes, Primus has finished what they started before. You are now complete." "This cannot be possible," Slipstream said. "Just as I brought a wounded clerk once before, you have been transformed. Now that Primus has gifted you, it is time for you to depart." Looking over and looking up, I can't climb out of here. I just yell out, "How in the hell am I supposed to leave?" Without turning, he simply yells, "Transform." Confused as hell, I see him walk away and turn back to Slipstream just in time to watch her change into a slender aerial form and take to the air as though as nothing. Then she starts to move around, realizing that her smaller form makes it very easy to maneuver, so fast that she can make turns so much sharper than she used to. She's actually enjoying it, flipping and flying around. I struggle, trying to adjust myself. I don't know if I gotta do some sort of Dance Dance Fever thing to make this happen with some sort of command. I know there used to be, but they got rid of that a long time ago. How do I do this? I can't quite change. I don't know what's going on. And then I yell out, "What will I change into? Do you know?" Slipstream, I can actually hear her giggling and laughing. As I ask her again, "What do you think I'll be?" She said, "Look at your wings on your back, idiot." I know she was smiling when she said that. Of course, I turned and realized, sure enough, I did have wings. And I realized that's the form I'm going to. But how do I change? I've never done this before. Eventually, she comes back down, reverts back to her humanoid form, and simply looks me in the eyes and tells me to visualize. Visualize yourself taking to the skies. Feel yourself becoming. I tried this a few times and nothing. Then she reaches up, puts her hand over my face and says, "Close your eyes. Don't look. Feel." "Okay," I said. And I closed my eyes, and I could feel some sort of transformation occur, but it was weird. I couldn't understand what was going on. I've never done this before, so I didn't know what in the hell to expect. Although it was strange. It was suddenly like I was in some sort of flying simulation with my mind as the controls. My body felt like a mix between scuba diving and flying as I very slowly elevated up off the ground and started to move all the way around, moving and banking, lifting, flipping over, starting to get a feel for this. And I realized that I was changed. I was now this strange jet aircraft. Oh man. Even as a kid, I would have never believed this, that I could actually fly. Slipstream comes up and joins me, has me do a couple maneuvers before we head up the corridors. The corridors not being perfectly straight means that I need to follow her lead because I don't need to crash into something because, let's face it, it's still going to hurt. As we head up the massive tunnels, I fly and follow the purple tail of my instructor, realizing that for some reason it's more intriguing to watch all of her rudders move. As we ascend, I find myself starting to go faster and faster and faster, getting closer but seemingly just to enjoy what I'm doing. Eventually, I realize that I'm getting the hang of this. I'm starting to understand, and I see the light at the end of the tunnel. I try not to burst past Slipstream as I want to get the hell out of here. Spelunking has never been my thing. I've never enjoyed it. And we burst into the open sky, just the two of us, leaving nothing but a smoke trail behind us. And I look around. Where the hell are we? I follow Slipstream as she simply says, "Follow me," and just takes off in one direction. I don't know where in the hell she's going, but apparently she knows where we are. And then I see something. I start getting close to her and I start asking, "Where are we? What is that?" She tells me that it's the abandoned Fortress Maximus. It was something major during the wars, but now it sits idle. I asked her what happened. She didn't know because she wasn't there. The only thing that we knew is we needed to rest, recuperate ourselves, just figure out what our next move was. But we needed someplace safe, and only refugees seemed to stay on any of these old stations, old moving cities, whatever in the hell they were. As we approached, we circled a few times looking for anyone who might be there, just making sure it's safe to land. The fortress itself looks like it haven't moved in decades. I mean, it's not rusting at all. It's just not been maintained at all. It looks just like that Titanic primitive one that I saw in the Primitives lands. I was like, something happened. Because it turns out the Cybertronian Wars, they've seen some very big casualties. Eventually, we decided to come in for a landing. I watch Slipstream as she lands as delicate as a cherry blossom on a calm lake. Me, on the other hand, I end up crashing into a parachute landing flop like a big old pile of shit. I simply sit there and say, "Ow," when Slipstream came over to help me, when she was done laughing, of course. Eventually, I got myself together and we decided to rest for a while. I mean, we weren't really tired or worn out, but we need to figure out our next move, exactly which way we're going to go and how we're going to get there. We sit there on the highest tower. We figure out where we want to go in the morning. She looks at me as I'm staring at her and she asks, "What's wrong? What's wrong? Is there something on me?" I simply stare. I must be grinning a little bit. I must look goofy as hell, but I'm just grateful that I can finally look into her eyes. And at that moment, I really don't give a shit what the wars are doing anywhere else on this planet. Although, I do think just a little bit of what's happening on my planet. Without thinking, we both folded our wings back so I could pull her a little close as she pointed out all the different celestial bodies up there, not just the moons. We are, in fact, looking up at one of the moons as it's going to be over our heads pretty much permanently. It was such a clear night, too. Such a beautiful night. So clear that we could actually see the corona and silhouette of something coming through the skies. When we notice it, we jump down, and I fall again. However, we scurry into a small corridor and we hide. We watch as whatever it is comes in. I can see at a distance it's a white aircraft, but as it turns, what is it? Some sort of red compartment on its back. And I don't know. It looks familiar. Without saying anything, the helmet I'm wearing suddenly drops a visor over my optics, and I can suddenly get a telescopic look really close. I can see the thing coming and banking in, seemingly doing the same lap that we did just to check to see if anybody was there. I look, but something was off. There's no visible symbols. Not on the wings. Maybe I'll check the silhouette? I looked up and down the silhouette and more towards the nose of the craft. I look, is that a symbol? No. Was there one? It looked like there was one, maybe two. There was a mix of red and purple on it, but it looked like they'd both been scraped off. The large jet, once it's done doing a couple circles, we see come into land, and as it does, it changes to its humanoid form and simply trots onto the deck. It seems to be a whole lot better at landing than I am, but still, we're looking at several tons of metal here. That thing's still going to make a racket. As we look up, I can think, damn, I know I'm not as big as one of these guys, but this guy's really, really big. Holy shit. It's almost like he could put one of the original ones inside several. I mean, he's much bigger than any of the aerial bots I've seen. Wait a second. I remember something of the past. Memories flood back as though somebody had not just opened the sluice gate, but actually blown the dam. I remember seeing something like this. I think, could it be? Is it? I think it is. I know I'm grinning when Slipstream whispers, "What?" I said, "Do you know who that is?" She simply says, "Yes, I know who that is or was." Wait, no, come back here! Hello everybody, this is Syntax. Thank you for joining me for Chapter 6 of the series. Now before I go, I need to send out some big thank yous to a few of my supporters, and those will be Prozac and Pancakes, Guardian Sage, SS Demon, Brian Kemp, Julius Boone, MTF Guard, and Erica Gem. Thank you all so much for supporting the channel. Everybody else, I'll see you on the next one. This is Syntax, ejecting.